The next two Avengers movies are in big trouble and it could spell doom for the MCU. So what are they to do? How can they save face and bring audiences back? Can they find grace with people who've decided they don't like Marvel anymore and they don't care what happens? Well, what if we told you they found the man, allegedly, who can save their cans, their derrieres? It's not Pedro Pascal. It's Chris Pratt. Hello, folks. Imagine that. It's another video from the Pro Channel, and we're happy to have you here. Our job is to explain entertainment, keep you ahead of the culture curve, and yes, on occasion, to scoop and get the leaks that the Holly Weirds freak out about. Yes, journalists, yes, drive-bys, get your jumbo-sized kindergarten crayons and pencils ready to take notes. Another video of excellence on the way. Click the like button, and here we go. Variety says that Pedro Pascal at the Cannes Film Festival, when asked about America's political chaos, said this: "Fear is the way they win. So keep telling the stories and expressing yourself and fighting. Blank the people that try to make you scared and fight back. Don't let them win." And this was in response to Orange Man, right? They asked about Orange Man and Orange Man supporters. So there you go. At least half the country, maybe more, maybe less, who knows? But right at half the country, Pedro says to fight back against those people. That's great. Well, those are the people who want to buy tickets to go see Mando and Fantastic Four and Avengers Doomsday, yada, yada, yada. Okay, we'll leave this playing for just a moment. But folks, here's the exclusive rumor we have. This was on the Patreon days and days ago, but we had to get permission to bring this to you, okay? We had to get permission to bring this to you. Let's see. So let's go to, real quick, we've got an exclusive on this, and that is that it's looking like the Russo brothers are preparing to reduce the screen time for one Pedro Pascal. For one Pedro. He's going to get less time, apparently, according to our sources. And who is going to get that time? Are you ready, folks? Are you ready? Chris Pratt.
What?
According to the sources that we have that we were held back from talking about until just now, it's looking like the Russo brothers want to go with Chris Pratt, give him increased runtime, screen time, feature him more prominently, especially on Avengers Secret Wars. But perhaps also with Doomsday, the focus is going to go more towards him than Reed Richards, because they're really worried right now that the amount of money that's being spent on these films, that Pedro could cost them billions of dollars if he goes Zegler. They're sure that Chris Pratt won't, and they're sure that Chris Pratt can bring a crowd. Panel, I'm going to open this up to you. Let's handle it in the theoretical, because we're in speculation and rumor territory here, okay? We're talking about a product that has not yet come to be. Let's go into this theoretically. Culture, I'll start with you. Culture, would that be the right move? Given the roster, given the cast that we know, given that RDJ is going to be playing the bad guy, is the best they have now to go to Chris Pratt as being the leader of whoever their heroes are?
I think that would be a solid choice. I mean, if anybody's been through the heartache and everything else that a major leader of a group of heroes has been, it's been Chris Pratt's character. And we've been through almost every single hardship and sad moment in his life. And we've seen the redemption of everybody that he's led as well. So when I look at this, the growth story would lend itself to featuring him as leader. But then again, I mean, just bring back Pepper Potts. She definitely is in a position to lead the group forward.
I'm reminded of when Gwyneth Paltrow forgot which movies she was in.
So, but now just think about it. I think that Chris Pratt can handle these kinds of situations that will be here for the next 2 to 3 years. Pedro clearly cannot. So they're stuck with 2 to 3 to 4 years of this nonstop. They're going to be drugged into the mud, or they can say, you know what, Reed Richards is a small part of this. The Fantastic Four is a small part of this. They've got a future, and maybe they do or maybe they don't, but they've got a future. But Chris Pratt is the leader of the Avengers, whatever this is, the new Avengers, whatever. And you can't go with Bucky. Bucky's not going to carry the day. You need somebody like Star-Lord. So when I heard this, one of the reasons we're willing to cover it and talk about it is because it makes perfect sense. And when things make perfect sense, that's when you say, well, it'd be senseless not to do it. Like, who else are you going to get to lead Marvel and give yourself the best chance to get back this multi-billion-dollar expense?
Yeah, if I were to compare Pedro Pascal's career to anyone's, it would be Avatar. Just kind of there, but I don't ever hear anybody saying, "Hey, did you see that time that Pedro was in that role and he did that and he said that line?" No, you don't get that from Pedro Pascal's career. It's mostly he's in this one too. He's also there. He's just kind of standing around next to things. He is culturally ubiquitous, but also not significant in the same way. And they need to. Honestly, it's like when Liam Neeson was saying he wanted to stop doing action movies, and then he started making comments about racial things that he was considering doing during the Troubles in Ireland. And that was maybe that was his way of retiring from action movies. Maybe Pedro Pascal is as tired of Pedro Pascal as we are. And if Chris Pratt could come in and actually be funny on screen, yeah,
and lead,
I'm there. And also the teenage audience is there, because if you get Tom Holland and Chris Pratt next to each other, you have got all four quadrants right there.
And he's not attached. Jonas, he's not attached to the Blake Lively stuff either. Like, even if everything goes, everything, if it just crashes with Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds and all of that, the nice pool stuff, Chris Pratt doesn't have any attachment to that. So this is like the safe pick of safe picks if they go with it.
Well, likable jerk is a character trope, but if you go, it's when your public persona ends up being maybe actual jerk on top of likable jerk, then it really takes away from that likable aspect. So Chris Pratt can still, get the audiences to show up. What is the show on Amazon that he did, where he was the Navy, Marine? I almost want to call it the term. Is it the Terminal List? Biggest thing on Amazon there for a little while. I mean, short of actually getting John Krasinski in for a role, which, by the way, he has to be Reed Richards if they bring him in, but he's not as funny as Chris Pratt. This is a no-brainer for me. And he's just somebody that you can actually get to show up in movies and be funny and charming, which is something they're allergic to when they keep putting Pedro Pascal in everything. That guy is as interesting as a little bit of granola sprinkled into your vanilla yogurt.
I think this is a solid pick right here. We've seen that he has definitely star power in the form of not even associated with Marvel exclusively, like Jurassic World, for example. Every single one of those films starring Chris Pratt made over $1 billion. We'll see if Scarlett Johansson can actually do that as well with Rebirth here coming up. But I mean, this guy's solid, and he's a solid actor, and he's a team player from what I understand. Mm-hmm. This might be the guy to go to, not only behind the scenes, but especially in front of the camera when it comes to audiences looking to see recognizable faces attached to Marvel projects, especially like Doomsday. This is I could see this working out. I
just want to tell everybody the big push apparently is going to be Secret Wars. They may be too far in to Doomsday to say, hey, Chris, we're going to use you way more than what you thought. That might get into contract issues. But I think they got to get away from Pedro. I don't think they have anybody left. They have damaged Marvel such that really this is one of the last picks they could make where audiences could get excited again. And I think people can get excited about Star-Lord and the idea that post Gamora, that he's searching for meaning and that coming back and leading the Avengers, that's something that we would, I think, all get behind. Kevin, if they do this, maybe they've straightened out. And if they don't, if they double down, if Kevin Feige doubles down on Pedro, then we'll know that they have the out here. They have the ace up their sleeve and they're choosing not to use it.
Yeah. Listen, Chris Pratt, he espouses values that everybody can get behind. For your meatheads, he's got the sign off from Arnold. He's a proven action star, and he's likable. So this is a no-brainer. I think it's insane that with as much time has gone by since Guardians 3, he hasn't popped up anywhere. The characters have been gone. They just seem to be really allergic to wanting to do stuff with the characters that people want to see. Case in point, Jeremy Renner. Like Hawkeye wasn't the greatest, but the common feedback was that the show was charming and he was entertaining. And just could you imagine, after surviving that horrific accident, had they just given him the money that he was looking for, they would have had not just an OG Avenger, but someone who survived a harrowing incident that the entire planet was behind. So you would have accidentally accrued some goodwill. Then you put the two of them together, and now you've got two bona fide masculine stars that will probably pull Dad back into the movie. Because we got to be honest, if you can't pull Dad in, no one's going. It's just, it is what it is, and there's really not too much here to pull me. Again, look at the brazen lack of interest in Fantastic Four. I think that if this was John Krasinski, you wouldn't be having this problem. There would be energy, there'd be excitement about it. Pedro Pascal is just not that guy, and if they want to be foolish enough to quadruple down on him, he's repellent. Has been repellent, especially when you hold him up against what they did to Gina Carano. He hasn't learned the lesson. He doesn't care to learn the lesson. And you're going to have to rely on him for 2 to 3 years of press tour between two different or I guess 3 different movies for his and these 2 Avengers films. That's a ticking time bomb. And the last thing Disney needs. I mean, look at poor Joaquin Phoenix. He looks like he'd rather be bathing in battery acid than sitting through this.
Well, it's also interesting that Pedro Pascal all of a sudden in this instance doesn't have anxiety and need to touch his co-star all of a sudden when it's not.
They're not putting women next to him anymore, are they?
Yeah. Also, there's one more thing I want to point out here. When you have a romantic lead, which is what Reed Richards should be on some level next to Sue Storm, yikes. You need to have some idea that he has romantic interest in women here. Actors can play whatever. I don't care, gay, straight, whatever. I'm not making a comment on the morality of anything here, but from the audience standpoint, they need to think that there is some interest there between the characters in order for there to be chemistry. If they can overcome the piddling obstacles of the narrative here, if they could just be together. You don't get much of that with Pedro, and there are some clips that have gone around that make you think that maybe he would never be interested in a good-looking dame.
Are you trying to make me play the juxtaposition of Chris?
No, of course not. What are you talking about?
Okay.
See, this is the subtext here. Again, just to talk about subtext and how important it is, the things that are not on screen. Chris Pratt right here, he usually plays characters that look like they're interested in any. He's got that Captain Kirk energy right there. Maybe a little bit more immature Captain Kirk energy, but the idea that, quote unquote, anything could happen, you don't get that with Pedro right now.
It's time for my summer sizzle, cool as a cherry popsicle, and don't hold back, get ready to stun, fun for everyone.
One more thing I want to add on Chris Pratt. He's also very close friends with the head of DC Studios. So
you might want to keep him in your pocket.
Exactly.
Hey, here's what I'll say on this. So there have been some rumors that Chris Pratt won't even appear in the next Avengers movie. So if he's going to be in there, if that was the case, they're going to have to make some changes quick.
Well, the script's not done, so I mean they have plenty of opportunity to make change. And look, I know that maybe not everybody's sold on Pepper Potts, but I just wanted to mention that Captain Marvel is the traditional leader of the Avengers.
She'll be there. So we won't go there, but she'll be there. Here's what I guess I would say as we get ready to wrap up this particular story. I don't remember the last time that we brought a rumor. And folks, you can go check the track record. But we've generally been above 90% on accuracy. I don't remember the last time that we brought a rumor or a scoop to the panel and everybody said, yeah, they should do that. 100%. Like, that's not the typical rumor we bring. 80%, we're running a poll right now. 80%, hovering around 80, 81% of the audience is saying, yes, this would clearly be what to do. with the 152 votes in. That shows to me that if Marvel is doing any kind of consultation here, that this would be the same thing they're seeing as well. Because this is the kind of thing where it just makes too much sense. And we'll see, but they've got the opportunity. This, I'm reminded of Doctor Strange in Endgame and Infinity War, where he says, we've got a 1 in a blah, 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 blah chance. Marvel, you got a 1 in a blah, 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 blah chance, and Chris Pratt is the one, it seems to me. I don't see any other way out of this unless you go with Tom Holland, but that might be difficult now. I think originally the plan was to put Tom Holland with Hugh Jackman and buddy them up, Spider-Man, Wolverine. That might be precarious now with the Blake Lively stuff. We'll see. All right, panel, any final thoughts before we wrap this one?
I think this is an extension of the Star-Lord character from Guardians of the Galaxy that we've seen before. If they want to go in this direction, not only will it be a continuation of that storyline and that dynamic character and his growth and so forth, but also too for fans of the series that have been keeping track all this time, it'll be, I think, rewarding for them, and for maybe returning fans. Well, it'd be nice to see a familiar face amongst so many B-list and C-listers.
Very, very well said. And it is time to put a bow on it, for this one, folks, is a gift to everybody who wants to know exactly what's going on in the entertainment industry. And we are so joyful that you were there to receive it. We hope that you had a great time. An attitude of gratitude on this channel every single time you decide to spend time with us. As we get ready to say goodbye, we only ask a few simple things. Click that like button, share, subscribe, click it, and stick it to those algorithms. It is the notification bell. Drop a comment down below. Let us know your thoughts. A mind is a terrible thing to waste, so waste not yours. And folks, as you get ready to head out that door, do you have a place on social media that you love to share this sort of thing? Hey, you can make this YouTube video sing by putting it out there for your friends, your family, and for those weirdos who just won't leave you alone. Folks, until the next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep having fun.
Hey, Floral, guess what?
You put a fork in Pro's microwave again.
No, that was yesterday.
I don't know that what.
Oh, I've decided to give up on torturing Jonas.
What? Why? In the same way the cat sleeps like 20 hours a day, that was like your purpose.
I know, but I've decided there's bigger fish to fry.
Okay.
Like Lorne. I mean, think about it. Everybody loves him. He's a fan favorite, and frankly, he has almost no weaknesses I can find. Except that he's really smart.
So, you want to annoy the one panelist without a single flaw, because he's smart.
Yeah, like that winged statue at that fancy Paris museum thingy. I want to break the one thing that everyone loves most.
Right. So, kind of like the opposite of Rachel Zegler.
Yeah, exactly. And I get to see her all the time at family reunions anyway.
You get to see Rachel Zegler?
Yeah. She's a total troll. Lives under a bridge, harasses billy goats, the whole 9 yards.
It all makes sense now.
Speaking of which, maybe she'll get me... Okay, call her on my... I'm gonna call her and see if she'll be in the next Indiana Jones. She should be the next Indiana Jones. That'll totally destroy Lord. He loves Indiana Jones.
Oh, that's cruel.
Hey, Rach. I've got a cool idea for you that involves a whip and snakes.
I love that description. It's perfect.
I know, right? Weird, as we always say.